we were looking at linear transformations, and I discussed earlier rank and nullity of a matrix. We want to now discuss rank and nullity of a linear transformation. Linear transformation is a more general notion. Yeah. So every matrix which is m by n, and suppose this is a real matrix, then this gives rise to a linear transformation from Rn to Rn. Okay, there is a null space of this linear transformation, which is set of all vectors u, so that Ta u, which is equal to a times u, is 0, and this is called the null space of the matrix. Yeah, and then the column space of the matrix consists of all the linear span of columns of A. Yeah, linear span of columns of A. So linear span of columns of A. Okay, and this is the collection of such vectors. There are n columns. So this is how a general linear combination of the n columns looks like, where xi's are real numbers. But this can be thought of as A times x1 xn. So every vector in the linear span of column vectors is of the form Ax. Yeah, Ax, where x is in Rn. And this is precisely the image. This is the image of the linear transformation Ta. Okay, so image of linear transformation is exactly the column space, and so the column rank is the dimension of the column space, and therefore it is the dimension of image of Ta. Okay, so rank of the linear transformation therefore will be defined as dimension of the image space, and nullity of the linear transformation will be defined as dimension of the null space. Okay, and we want to prove that the sum of the nullity and the rank of a linear transformation is the dimension of the codomain. Yeah, this is the analog of rank nullity theorem for matrices, which we proved already using the row echelon form or row canonical form. Okay, but let us first discuss how do we construct linear transformation. So you have understood, given a matrix, how to construct a linear transformation associated with that matrix. Okay, we want to now understand how to construct linear transformations in general, because vector spaces may not consist of usual looking vectors. Yeah, usual looking vectors, and the vector spaces can consist of matrices or functions, yeah, or usual vectors. So linear transformations can come in all kinds of shades. We have seen that integration is a linear transformation, differentiation is a linear transformation. Yeah, then you can also prove that the taking trace of a matrix, square matrix, is also a linear transformation from the vector space of square matrices to the field of scalars. So linear transformations can be constructed in many, many ways. So let us understand how in general we can construct any linear transformation. So this is given by this proposition. Yeah, this says that suppose I have two vector spaces. Let us assume that the domain space V is a finite dimensional. One can treat infinite dimensional also, but for simplicity I am taking finite dimensional vector space, and so therefore there is a finite basis V1, V2, Vn, n is the dimension of V. So there is a basis consisting of n vectors. Now we can choose arbitrary vectors W1, W2, Wn in the codomain space. Yeah, so linear transformation will be defined from V to W. Okay, so in V we choose a basis, in W we choose arbitrary vectors. Yeah, then there is a unique linear map from V to W which assigns Wi to Vi. Okay, so linear map by this proposition is determined once I know the image of basis vectors. And basis vectors can be assigned arbitrary vectors, and then one can associate this map with a unique linear transformation. So let us see how it is done. So first let us prove the uniqueness. We want to prove that the condition that Vi are mapping to Wi, okay, gives a unique linear transformation. There is only one linear transformation which has this property that the basis vectors Vi's are taken to predetermined vectors Wi from the vector space W. So let us take a vector V. Then we know that V can be uniquely written. Yeah, V can be uniquely written as a linear combination of V1 up to Vn, because V1 up to Vn is a basis. Okay, and then apply T. T is linear. So T of V will be therefore A1 T1 plus AN Tn. And that is equal to A1 W1 plus AN Wn, because TVI is Wi. So this condition that Vi's are taken to Wi determines the image of any vector in V under the action of T. So entire linear transformation is determined once I know the images of basis vectors. Yeah. So this gives that T is uniquely determined by the condition that TVI is Wi. Now let's define T. Yeah. So take a V, take a vector V, and where should we take it to? Because we want a linear transformation, TV has no choice but to map to A1 W1 AN Wn. Because once T is defined, it is a TV is uniquely determined. So we will define T in this manner. First express V as a unique linear combination of the basis vectors, and then apply T to V and declare this as A1 W1 AN Wn. And you can test that this map is a linear map. Okay, this is very easily proved that this is a linear map. So we have proved existence and uniqueness. And now let me state the rank nullity theorem for linear transformations. So take a linear transformation of vector spaces where I am putting this extra condition that V is finite dimensional vector space. Okay, because if V is not finite dimensional, the numbers, nullity of T, rank of T, they may not be finite numbers. So we cannot talk about this equation. So I am assuming V is finite dimensional, so that nullity of T, which is subspace of V, is also finite dimensional, and we will see that the rank of T is also finite dimensional if V is finite dimensional. Remember, rank T is the dimension of the image. Okay, and nullity of T is the set of all vectors, so that V maps to 0 under the action of T. And we are saying that nullity of T plus nullity of T and rank of T, they add up to dimension of the domain space. Yeah, this is the dimension of domain. And nullity of T is a subspace of V. Yeah, it is all vectors which are mapped to 0. And rank of T is dimension of the image. The image is a subspace of W. Yeah, so we are moving from V to W. Okay, just like here, given a matrix T, and I define a map TA from Rn to Rm. So vectors are mapped to vectors. Vectors with n components are mapped to vectors with m components. So we have abstract linear transformation where I'm replacing this by a vector space, replacing this by a vector space. But this V is finite dimensional, and T maps vectors from V to W. The null space of T is here, and the image of T is a subspace here. Yeah. So I can take dimension of the image, that is called the rank of T. I can take dimension of the null space of T, that is called the nullity of T. And these two dimensions add up to dimension of V. That is the rank nullity theorem. And this theorem implies the theorem about rank and nullity of a matrix that we proved earlier. So let us show this in general. Okay, now our vector spaces are abstract. Yeah, earlier when I proved rank nullity theorem, the vector spaces were concrete. They were Rn and Rm. Okay. Now let's prove this for arbitrary linear transformations acting on finite dimensional vector space, so that rank and nullity are well-defined numbers. So since V is finite dimensional, I assign n to the dimension. Suppose dimension of V is n. Then there is a basis. There is a basis consisting of n vectors. Yeah, is a basis consisting of n vectors. This should be Vn. Okay, there is a basis consisting of n vectors. This is fine. I was mistaken. N is the dimension of V, and null space of T is a subspace of V, and dimension of subspace is always small, equal to dimension of the whole space. So I can start with a basis of null space of T. Yeah, basis of null space of T. After all, null space of T is contained in the big vector space V, and V is n dimensional, and null space of T is k dimensional. So I can choose a basis. Yeah, every finite dimensional vector space has a basis. Yeah, and then so these are linearly independent elements, and any set of linearly independent elements can be extended to a basis of the whole space. So this basis of the null space I can extend to the basis of the whole space. Inside the null space, yeah, V1 up to V1 were inside the null space.
Here's what I found.
Sorry, something happened. And W1 up to Wn minus k, so they are vectors outside the null space, and I add these vectors to the basis B, and I get a basis of the whole space. Yeah, so V is n dimensional, so a basis of n V contains n vectors. So I extend the basis B to a basis C of the whole vector space. Okay, now let us show that when I apply T to these vectors, they will form a basis of image of T. VI's are mapped to 0 under the action of T, because VI's are in the null space. Yeah, VI's are in the null space, so they are mapped to 0. So TWI, TW1, TW2, TWN minus k, they are in the image. Yeah, we will prove that these n minus k vectors in the image of T are linearly independent, and the image of T is linear span of TW1, TW2, TWN minus k. Once I show that these vectors are linearly independent and their linear span is image of T, then it will show that this is a basis of image of T. And so rank of T, which is dimension of the image, will be n minus k. And k is the dimension of null space, and that would have proved the theorem that nullity of T and the rank of T, they add up to dimension of V. Okay, so let's proceed. I want to prove these two facts about the set D, that this is a linearly independent set, and these are their linear span is the image of V. Okay, now any vector V can be expressed as a linear combination of basis vectors V1 up to Vk and W1, W2 and Wn minus k. They form a basis of V, so there are unique scalars alpha i's and beta i's, so that V can be written like this. Now T is a linear transformation, so TV will be alpha 1 T1, alpha k TVk, and plus beta 1 TW1, beta n minus k TWN minus k. But TV1, TVk, they are 0 because VI's are in the null space, and therefore TV is equal to beta 1 TW1, beta n minus k TWN minus k, and this is a linear combination of TWI's, and therefore this is in the linear span of TW1, TWN minus k. Okay, but the image consists of all the vectors of the type TV. Yeah, image of T is set of all vectors TV, and therefore this is the linear span of TW1, TWn minus k. And this shows that the image T is linear span. Now I want to prove that they are linearly independent. Okay, so to prove that they are linearly independent, I have to take a linear combination of these vectors, and then which becomes 0, and then show that this linear combination is a trivial linear combination. So I take a linear combination of these vectors. Okay, but T is linear transformation, therefore this is equal to this, and suppose this is equal to 0. Yeah, if it is equal to 0, then this vector beta 1 W1 beta n minus k Wn minus k, this is mapped to 0, and therefore this is in the null space of T. Okay, once the vector is in the null space, then I know a basis of null space, and therefore this vector is a unique linear combination of vectors in the basis of null space of T, and therefore this is in the null space, and therefore there exists unique scalars alpha 1, alpha 2, alpha k, so that this is linear combination of VI's, because this vector is in null space. But then now you see, look at this equation. This gives a linear relation among basis elements of V. V1, V2, Vk, and W1, Wn minus k, that constitutes a basis. And in a basis, vectors are linearly independent. But this is a linear relation among these. So that implies that all alpha i's are 0 and all beta i's are equal to 0. We wanted to just prove that TW1, TW2, TWn minus k, they are linearly independent. And but this equation says that all the beta i's are 0, all alpha i's are 0. And that proves the linear independence of the set D. And we already showed that their linear span is the image of T, and therefore image of T is linear span of n minus k vectors. And so this shows that the rank of T, rank of T is equal to n minus k, which is dimension of V minus dimension of the null space of T, and that implies the rank nullity theorem.